Valeria had a strong sense that she was falling ill. Her body was filled with aches, and there was an intense craving for pickles. Normally, such withdrawal symptoms wouldn't be seen as signs of illness, but in Valeria's case, they always preceded her getting sick. The pickles were a clear indication that her temperature was rising and sickness was on its way. She made her way to the refrigerator, hoping to find a jar of cucumbers, but to her dismay, all she found was brine and spices. Valeria felt frustrated with Tolik's habit of only storing brine in the fridge. She angrily slammed the refrigerator door and helplessly sat down on a stool. Feeling desperate, she picked up her phone and dialed Tolik's number, but was met with his answering machine message stating that he was currently unavailable. She desperately wanted the cucumbers, but couldn't reach her husband to ask him to buy some. Feeling annoyed, she wondered where he could possibly be that he was so unreachable. Valeria couldn't understand why she couldn't get through to him, especially since he had eaten all the cucumbers, and she wanted him to buy more. Tolik worked at the same company as Valeria's sister, so she decided to call her sister and ask her to give Tolik a message. She wanted her sister to inform Tolik to buy pickles on his way home and to pick up the kids from kindergarten, since she wasn't feeling well enough to go herself. However, when she called her sister, she faced the same problem as before, no answer. Frustrated, Valeria wondered if they had gone into hiding. She wasn't necessarily nervous, just irritated by the fact that she would have to summon the energy to go to the store and kindergarten by herself. She lay down, hoping to rest for a bit before she had to get up again. But as time passed, her muscles, head, and throat all started to ache. She realized she had a fever as she began to shiver. She tried calling her husband and sister again, but still couldn't get through to either of them. "Hello, Semioka, hi. Thank goodness you're available. I'm really lost," Lyra called her friend Seraphima. "Please help me. I can't get out of bed. Buy some sour cucumbers for me, specifically the ones sold in barrels at the supermarket. Do you hear me? Also, please pick up the girls from the daycare. I'm having a seizure." "Hi," Seraphima answered in a cheerful tone. "Are you pregnant again?" "Why would I be?" Lyra was surprised. "Craving for salt. And then Tolik has a thing about having a son," Seraphima explained. "Your symptoms sound like angina. Have you forgotten? When I'm sick, I also crave pickles. Anyway, can you fulfill my request as Sem? I can't reach Tolik and Irina. Tolik expects me to pick up the kids from daycare, but I'm sick. Love, everything will be fine. I'm just coming from work. I'll go to the store and then to the daycare. Should I buy anything else at the store? Do you need any medication? I have the necessary drugs. No need for now, but please buy some bread. I'll have to feed Tolik dinner anyway. What will I do without you, my friend?" Lyra greeted Seraphima when she arrived with the children. "Come on in." Valeria quickly undressed the children. "That's it, go wash your hands," she told her daughters. "And you, Seema, go to the kitchen. Just in case, stay away from me. You never know what it might be. I'm shivering, and all I want is cucumbers." Lyra opened the jar and started crunching on the cucumbers. With her eyes closed in pleasure, she ate 3 pickles and then sat helpless on a stool. She looked at her surprised friend and smiled, saying, "This is my go-to remedy for all sorts of viruses. Why are you looking at me like that, Tyomka? I don't care much for cucumbers, but when I get sick, I just crave them so much." Seraphima continued to look at Lyra, and Valeria didn't appreciate the pitiful look on her friend's face, as if she was seeing her off for the last time. "What?" she asked. "Why are you looking at me like that? It's just a sore throat, or maybe a virus. I'll be fine," Lyra smiled. "Don't worry, friend. I'm calm." Seraphima looked away. "I'm just surprised that you're so calm. But let's postpone this conversation for later, not today. You'll get over your sore throat. and then we can talk." Valeria responded sharply. "I don't care if someone brought news. No one brought anything, though. I found out about it myself today." Serafima pouted resentfully as Valeria continued. "I've told you numerous times. I don't want to hear any news or gossip. I don't like it. How many times do we have to discuss this? Don't we have anything else to talk about, Semka?" Serafima stopped talking, and Valeria noticed her annoyance. Valeria said, "Every time I try to discuss something with you, you dismiss it as gossip. Don't you want to know what's happening around you? I understand if you're not interested in TV or politics, but what about the people close to us? Don't you care?" Valeria added, "I really don't care," cutting Serafima off. "I know what I need to know, and I don't want to be bothered with every bit of gossip. Why should I drive myself crazy? I have enough knowledge already." Serafima replied, "You're like an ostrich burying its head in the sand, pretending not to see or hear anything. But sooner or later, you'll get a hard hit on that buried head, and it will be too late." Valeria dismissed the exaggeration, saying, "I live peacefully thanks to my ignorance of unnecessary information. I don't need bitter truths or sweet lies. I want to live a calm and happy life." Serafima persisted. "Are you really living like that, or are you just living in illusions?" This angered Valeria, causing her to slam a vase of cookies onto the table, shattering it. "Is that what you consider calm?" Serafima exclaimed. "Well, darling, you need to do something about your calmness." Lyra sat on a stool, holding her head in her hands and quietly crying. "Is there anything we can do to calm your nerves?" Senka asked. "Let's try to help her." The children rushed into the kitchen, screaming, "Mommy, what's happening? Was there an explosion?" "The vase broke," Valeria answered calmly despite her tears. "I'll clean up the shards and we can have dinner." "What about Daddy?" Tanya, Lyra's youngest daughter, asked. "Aren't we going to wait for him?" "No, Daddy is working late. Will you have dinner with us?" Valeria asked Serafima. "No, I think I'll leave." "Thank you for your assistance," Lyra replied, her voice unsteady, before slamming the door behind her. "Hey sis," Lyra's older sister always spoke affectionately. "Did you call?" "Yes, what's wrong?" "I couldn't reach Tulik or you. I got sick, and I wanted Tulik or you to pick up the girls from daycare. Thankfully, Semka helped me out. I just turned on the phone now, and Tulik probably did the same. We had a meeting, so our phones were off. The boss doesn't have a sense of humor. You know how it is, sis. What's going on with you? What's bothering you?" "It's nothing. I think it's just a sore throat." "No, it's not nothing. Do you need medicine? Why don't you let me buy it for you? I'll bring it over." "No, there's no need for you to do everything. How is Pavlik growing up?" "He's growing up. Where else can he go? Kids, they all grow up. Aren't you afraid to leave such a little one with a nanny?" Lyra was always amazed. What if something happens? There are nannies these days. "Do I have a choice?" Irina replied sharply as never before. "It's easy for you, hiding behind your husband's support. But dear sister, I don't have anyone to rely on. But Pavlik has a father. Okay, things didn't work out, but maybe he can help you." "Lyra, let's not bring that up. You know Pavlik's father doesn't even know he exists. How many times do I have to tell you? He's married, and I had the child for myself. Age was getting to me. Do you remember how old I am?" "I do, exactly. Call your Tolik. He's probably online now. Bye. Let me know if you need anything." The digital clock displayed 21:15. Valeria finished putting the children to bed and made several attempts to call her husband Tolik. But he did not answer, even though his phone showed that he was online. "I don't know, sis. I've been trying to call Tolik, but I can't get through." Lyra called out to her sister again. Maybe he went somewhere after work? Perhaps he just forgot to turn his phone on, Valeria speculated. His number is active, but he's not responding. I don't have any information, Lara replied. Maybe he's out with friends, Valeria suggested. No, if Tolik was going to meet his friends, he would have informed me days in advance. He rarely meets them, and usually only on weekends. Today is Tuesday. I don't know what to think. Lara said worriedly. Think positive thoughts, sis. If you dwell on negative things, they might manifest themselves, Valeria advised. Ira, I feel terrible. I have a high temperature, and now Tolik isn't answering. Honestly, I'm getting nervous. Lara confessed. Stay calm. There could be unforeseen circumstances, Valeria reassured her. But you would have called or answered my call. I can't handle this. I feel so sick. Lara cried. Do you have any nausea cucumbers? Valeria asked. Yes, Lara replied. So take them and something for your temperature. I'm sure Tolik will show up any minute now, Valeria comforted her. Oh, Ira, Tolik is calling. I have to go. Bye, Lara excitedly said before hanging up. What are you doing? I'm worried sick here. And you? Valeria rambled into the phone. Hello, a woman's voice interrupted her. Valeria's heart raced with excitement. Who are you? Where's Tolia? Where's Tolia? Lara shouted. I'm a doctor at the emergency room of the trauma center. Anatoly Viktorovich is your husband, correct? The woman on the other end of the line replied. Yes, Tolia is my husband. What happened to him? Valeria shouted into the phone. He was brought to us after a car accident with multiple injuries, the doctor explained. How is he? What's wrong with him? Valeria anxiously asked. Anatoly Viktorovich is in critical condition, unconscious, in the intensive care unit, the doctor informed her. Lara fell silent. The shock overwhelmed her. Can you hear me? The doctor asked. Yes, Valeria answered, her voice filled with confusion. You can get all the details in the intensive care unit. Goodbye, the doctor concluded, ending the call. Valerie felt an overwhelming wave of nausea, causing her to rush to the bathroom. It felt as if her stomach was about to flip inside out. Desperate for relief, she took some medicine and nibbled on pickles, which offered a slight alleviation of her symptoms. Still feeling shaky, she dialed her sister's cell phone with trembling fingers, only to hear a message saying that the subscriber was temporarily unavailable. She realized that her sister, Irina, often disconnects her phone at night to avoid disturbing her family's sleep. Irina, what's going on? Serafima replied in confusion. I thought we ended our conversation on a positive note. Tolik was in an accident and his condition is critical. He's in intensive care. Please come, I'm not doing well, Valerie responded, her voice filled with distress. No, absolutely not. The intensive care unit is off limits, the doctor sharply interjected. I will check on him and update you soon. Valerie pleaded, please, just let me see him and I'll leave immediately. The doctor examined Valerie closely and noticed her coughing and unhealthy complexion. Why are you coughing? Are you also sick? The doctor questioned. Valerie tried to deceive. Oh, it's just a minor illness. The doctor sternly warned, even more reason for you to leave the ward. Until you're fully recovered, you're not allowed here. Inquire about your husband's condition over the phone, but I must emphasize that his condition is extremely serious. Overwhelmed with emotion, Irina cried. Lara, how can this be? I went to the intensive care unit, but they told me that information about the patient's condition is only provided to immediate family. Am I not considered immediate family? Tell me, what about Tolik? What's the prognosis? Valerie, exhausted and sleep-deprived, glanced wearily at her sister. Her fever had been fluctuating, and she felt absolutely miserable. "It's not looking good," Valerie replied. "Tolia is unconscious with a fractured cervical vertebrae and internal organ injuries. He underwent surgery last night to remove hematomas." Irina repeated after her sister, "It's not looking good. Yes, it's bad." She sat down on the sofa and stared at a photo of Valerie's family. The picture captured Tolik and Valerie embracing in a park, surrounded by lush green trees. Their children, Tanya and Mashenka, sat happily on a bench nearby. Everyone in the photo was smiling. "Look at this. They're so happy," Irina said, gesturing towards the photo, "and I will never experience such happiness." Valerie responded, "What are you saying? There's no happiness in this situation. Tolik is in critical condition, and we have no idea how it will turn out. Ira, I feel so sick. I think I have a fever again." Mockingly, Irina suggested, "Well, maybe eating some pickles will make you feel better. They seem to be your cure-all." "But for me, pickles won't do anything." Valerie asked with concern, "Are you also feeling sick?" "I'm starting to lose control of my life, and there's nobody to empathize with me. Everyone sympathizes with you now, saying things like, 'Poor Narochka, if Tolia survives, he might become bedridden, and she has 2 young children. And if Tolia passes away, Narochka will be poor, left to raise 2 children on her own. It's our mother who laments like that, but being alone with a child doesn't make me poor at all. No one sympathizes with me. Ira, but you chose to have a child. Children are wonderful. Why would anyone sympathize with that? Besides, I don't understand what you mean by losing a thread and what's wrong with your sister. Tell me and I'll sympathize with you. Tell me, Ira. I'm your sister, and I'll understand and feel sorry for you, Arinka. Remember how you felt sorry for me when I was hurt as a child?" Irina remained silent, unwilling to recall the similarities between her and Lera. They now find themselves on different sides. "You're keeping something from me," sighed Valeria. "How can I help you? Do you want me to go to Pavlusha's father and tell him about his son? Maybe he cares and Pavlusha could use a father's care." "Oh, if I had given Tolik a son, he would be overjoyed." "Don't talk like that about Tolia, or you might end up jinxing him, and he'll truly be in a different world, just not the one you mentioned," said Irina. "Pavlusha's father already knows about his son, but for now, we have decided not to inform anyone about it." "What do you mean by inform?" "He was planning to divorce his wife, and then we would start a family together." "And what happened? Did he change his mind?" "Why are you talking about it in the past tense? Why won't you tell me, Ira? Sharing will make you feel better." Irina gave her sister a strange look. "I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you everything, sister. When the time is right, I'll share with you. Take care of yourself, sister. There's nothing you can do for Tolik. If anyone can help him, it's God. You understand the severity of his condition, right? Keep me updated on Tolia's situation. You see, I'm not a close relative, but I'll go to church and light a candle for your husband's health," said Irina. "Of course, I'll call the emergency room and then call you immediately." 2 days later, Anatoly passed away without regaining consciousness. While Valeria's grief at the funeral was expected, Irina's behavior caused a stir and gave rise to gossip. Word quickly spread among the mourners at the cemetery that Irina had screamed, wailed, and hung to the coffin, preventing Valeria from approaching. The mother of both Lera and Ira, Anna Semyonovna, could not tolerate this and publicly reprimanded her daughter, pulling her away from the coffin. "Ira, what is the matter with you?" Anna whispered in her ear, as if suggesting that Tolia's husband was not Lera's but Irina's. "Control yourself, daughter. Doesn't Lera know yet?" "What doesn't she know?" Irina asked amidst her tears. "That Pavlusha is Toli's child, her mother replied. Irina immediately stopped crying, staring at her mother as she asked, "How do you know?" "Oh," her mother sighed, "one must be blind not to see it all." Pavlusha is Tolia's spitting image. I've kept quiet, unsure how to handle this scandal, but perhaps the Lord has intervened. No, Mommy, God hasn't resolved everything. There are still problems, and I will have to solve them myself, Irina countered. On the 9th day after Toli's passing, the family gathered to remember him. Lera reached out to Seraphima, who assisted in preparing the memorial table. The wake was somber and low-key, something that Lera appreciated. She had no desire to discuss her husband. The pain was already too raw, and any words spoken in Tolia's memory would only intensify her sorrow. Loud speeches during the wake made no sense to her. She believed that grief thrived in silence. Towards the end of the gathering, Irina rose to her feet and spoke up. "Well, it seems that Lera is beginning to heal, but the pain of losing her husband will not fade quickly. Therefore, I believe it is necessary to reveal what Tolia and I had kept hidden. My Pavlusha is also entitled to everything Tolik had." A stunned silence swept over the relatives as they processed Irina's revelation. Valeria looked at her sister and then at the bewildered relatives, shaking her head in disbelief. "I don't understand, Ira." "No, I must be misunderstanding. What did you just say?" "I've had enough of this charade," Irina declared boldly. "I don't see the point in pretending that none of this concerns me. I'd rather be upfront with my relatives than have them gossip behind my back. Tolia is Pavlusha's father and dear sister. You'll have to share your property with my son." Silence fell as everyone was taken aback by Irina's words. Valeria's breathing became heavy and erratic, and she looked at Seraphima, calling out, "Siomka," before fainting. "Have you lost your mind?" Seraphima confronted Irina. "What is the purpose of all this?" Anna Semyonovna found smelling salts in the medicine cabinet and brought them to revive Valeria. Slowly, Valeria regained consciousness, seeing her relatives gathered around her and hearing her mother telling Irina, "Go home and stay away from trouble." "I'm not going anywhere," Irina retorted. "We need to sort things out now." The relatives realized they had to leave. They had just buried Anatole, and they didn't need another scandal to deal with. Some intoxicated relatives attempted to protest, but Anna Semyonovna escorted them all out. It was their family's matter, and they would decide how to handle it. Seraphima wanted to leave, but Valeria pleaded with her, "Siomka, stay. I feel so terrible. I can't handle all of this." "Eat sour cucumbers for your nausea, sister," Irina sneered. "Shall I fetch some from the fridge?" "Shut up," Seraphima interjected on Valeria's behalf. "Who do you think you are?" "What do you mean?" Irina retorted. "How could I stay with my sister's husband?" Anna Semyonovna bid farewell to the departing guests and returned to address the scandal. "Stop shaming each other," she spoke in a composed manner. "What's done is done. Now we need to resolve everything and move forward." "Mom, how can I live with this?" Valeria asked, feeling confused. "My sister slept with my husband. She has a child with him. And now she wants a share of the apartment where I live with my children. How is this possible, Mom?" Speaking up for her mother, Irina responded, "As soon as Tolia and I finished building the house, he would have left you eventually. It was only a matter of time. He was a decent man who didn't want to share a 2-bedroom apartment with you. Tolia wanted a house, and we built it together. Tolia wanted a son, and I gave him a son. In reality, he was my husband." Lera remained silent, lacking the strength and desire to engage with her sister any further. Seraphima stepped in, saying, "Lera has made her stance clear. Now leave. If you want a piece of the pie, take legal action. Don't show up here again." Seraphima informed Lara about what she saw the day she fell ill. "I saw them together," she said. "They left the supermarket in an embrace, got into Tolik's car, and drove away. I believe they went to Irina's house." Lara was taken aback. "I suspected Tolik was being unfaithful, but I never imagined it would be a long-lasting affair with my own sister. Why would he do this to me?" Lara cried. "You didn't do anything wrong." Seraphima comforted her, giving her a hug. "You were deceived. I warned you about him, but there's nothing you can do now. Let things unfold as they will." Neither Irina nor Tolik anticipated the court's decision. It turned out that Tolik's car, which he used to meet his lover, belonged to his wife Lara. Additionally, the apartment that the deceased left behind belonged to his daughters and his wife. Although Anatoly and Irina had built the house together, the legal owner was Anatoly Viktorovich, Valeria's husband. As a result, the house was divided amongst Lara's children, Lara herself, Anatoly's mother, and Irina's son, Pavlusha. As they left the courtroom, Irina was overcome with anger and frustration. Through gritted teeth, she sobbed at Lara, "I hate you. I'm sick of your self-satisfied smile." Valeria responded with a mocking tone, saying, "Perhaps some sour cucumbers would help with your nausea."